Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining. And today we are going to be talking about a reference architecture that encompasses a couple of our products. Before I get too deep into the actual specifics of the product set, I would like to first convey the idea of what we're trying to do with this architecture. So we're trying to combine the power of integration and business automation to create a holistic solution. And the business problem that we're trying to solve today is around compliance management. So compliance, as you know, is fundamental to any business. So any business that deals with customers have to have a compliance management solutions to ensure that their customers can be heard and the issues that they're seeing can be processed appropriately. So there is a very fine line with identifying a complaint and converting that dissatisfaction of the customer into customer confidence and loyalty. So creating a solution of this magnitude is often a problem, and it does have some key challenges associated with it. First thing is that the data comes in through different channels. In today's digital world, data can come in through either a website, a mobile, and there are different disparate sources that is acting as source of truth. And channeling them down and ensuring that they get sent down in a single unified format is the first main problem to solve. Second, when we spoke to a lot of customers regarding a compliance management system, the first thing that we hear from them is that most of these organizations do have some sort of compliance management solution in there. They could be legacy compliance management solutions that is working on specific departments within the organization. So, and there could be also manual processing of some of those compliance as well. So you need to have that single pane of glass through which you can channel down these various disparate sources into one single source of truth and then send it down for a unified processing. And the fact that you need to maintain these records, not just for auditory purposes and regulatory purposes, but also to ensure that you can convert it from just being mere information that comes out of case processing to knowledge that can be, channeled to ensure that your case processing takes care of not just resolving the issue, but also ensuring that the case, the same type of issue does not come up again. So these are the main considerations that we would take to create a compliance management solution. And for this particular example, reference architecture, I've taken the example of a banking solution. So you have data coming in from online banking channel. That is something that is very, very fundamental. We have all used it. You have an online banking website page which shows you the details to enter regarding any customer dissatisfaction. The second channel that I've assumed for this example is that a customer can actually walk into a branch and convey his dissatisfaction. And the customer information is being captured by the branch manager. He then puts in the information through a branch banking website, which can then be sent out for processing. And then third, there could be a regulatory channel. Think of this more as an escalation path. So whenever you create a complaint and you're not very satisfied with the resolution of the complaint, it then goes to a regulatory body. And the regulatory body then pipes it down to the bank again for processing. So that's the third channel that I'm assuming for this architecture. And the fourth channel, which is the one that most of us would have made use of, which is the call centers. You make a call to the customer service representative and complain about a specific issue, and then they take it for processing. So what we mean by omni-channel in here is that we want to ensure that the data coming in through these different channels are being channeled in one single manner. The customer should ensure, what we need to ensure is that the customer sees transparency across these channels. So he sees consistency across whichever channel he comes in from, he should actually see the same set of results. So when we're trying to solve for an omni-channel experience like this, data could be coming in from different channels in different formats. They could be coming in through different protocols as well. So what you need is an integration solution that can take up all this data and then create a single unified data model out of it, which can then be sent down to a case management system. So now I introduce a set of products that we will be using as a part of this reference architecture. Red Hat Fuse is our integration solution. It is a distributed integration platform that can take care of your integration needs. And the second half of the solution is modeled by making use of the Red Hat Process Automation Manager, which is our automation solution. So think of this as a way by which you can document the various workflows that happen within your organization and then have it automated. So you document it, automate it, and then you also get the power to go back and change the workflow depending upon changes in policies and procedures. So you get that flexibility of handling the workflows within the organization, and that is being modeled using the Red Hat Process Automation Manager. Before we jump into the actual demo, a quick refresher at these products. As I mentioned, Red Hat Fuse is our integration platform, provides for distributed integration. So gone are those days where we depended upon a single enterprise service bus to take care of our integration needs. The idea behind the enterprise service bus is a very good idea, that it actually brings out the routing and transformation into a unified layer, takes it out of the application, and provides that freedom for the applications to be developed independently. A lot of organizations have seen a great success with that architecture, but the problem is that when you move from the waterfall era to the agile era, you need to be able to move fast. Depending on a centralized enterprise service bus to take care of your routing and transformation needs can become a little bit overwhelming, because that can start to become a bottleneck when you want to move at the speed of your agile phase of development. So what Red Hat Fuse offers for is a cloud-native way of creating these applications. It provides you a way by which you can create these integration solutions as microservices and provide you a facility for containerizing them. And you expose them out as APIs so that it can be accessed by downstream systems with ease. So what we're trying to do is just not empower your integration experts, but also empower your developers to create integration solutions. And Red Hat Fuse is a project that's based upon enterprise integration patterns. So any integration problem in an enterprise which is large is going to be a hard problem to solve. And you need the right tools in your toolbox to solve this sort of a problem. And Red Hat Fuse is based upon the upstream Apache Camel project, which provides for an implementation of enterprise integration patterns, which are tried and tested patterns, which provide for solutions to the most common integration problems that you see out there. So with that said, let's proceed on to the automation solution. So why do you need an automation solution? Well, the answer to that is that when you have workflows that are being managed by your business users, you want to be able to have a way by which you can let your business users contribute to that process of developing and maintaining your workflows. Because oftentimes there is this disconnect between the business users documenting these workflows and having your developers take up the initiative, get it converted into a deployable code. And suddenly when there's a change in a policy and procedure, it has to go through the same 9 yards to actually get into effect. And what an automation solution can help you do is to close that gap and have your business users empowered so that they can contribute to maintaining these workflows and changing these workflows as there needs to be a change. And Red Hat Process Automation Manager provides you an entire toolbox of utilities that you can make use of to create automation solutions and decision management solutions. And in this particular reference architecture, we are going to be talking about the case management feature that the Red Hat Process Automation Manager provides, more so aimed at solving problems related to call center management type cases. So with that said, with that background about the products, we'll dive deep into the actual reference architecture. And for the people on the phone, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop it in the chat. I will reserve some time at the end for Q&A. And I also have with me Mariam, who's the Technical Account Manager for Process Automation Manager. So if you have any questions, feel free to put that in the chat and we will get to it as we go through the presentation. So when you look at the reference architecture in here, we introduced the different Omni Channel that we are making use for this architecture. We have data coming in from the online banking channel, coming in from the branch banking channel, regulatory body, and through the phone channel. And for technical purposes, I assume that the data can be coming in through a REST, or it can be coming in through a SOAP channel, a legacy SOAP channel, or it could be coming in through a flat file. So more so think of this as a batch file processing system, wherein you put in entries to be processed in a flat file, and then the flat file then gets processed in a batch mode at the end of the day. So we already saw that there could be data disparity between these various channels. So what Red Hat Fuse does here is that it ensures that it takes the data from these various channels and enriches the data, makes sure that it fills in any missing information that might be required for the case management to happen. And then it sends it down to your Process Automation Manager for processing. And something that's very interesting is in this example, I've assumed that the phone or the by mail channel, think of it this way. So the call center representative takes up all the details that he accumulates as a part of the day, and then he drops it into a file, maybe a spreadsheet, and then he drops the spreadsheet into a file location. And at the end of the day, the file is being pulled from the file location for processing. Think of it that way. And the way we model the solution here is by using a polling consumer. So it looks for data to be present in that particular file location, pulls the data, and then splits each and every record from that data, from that file, and then sends it down for processing to the Process Automation Manager. And there's this important aspect of AI ML that I have listed out here at the, if you look at the categorization and enrichment piece, there is a space for AI ML that you can plug in because when you have a complaint coming in, it can be directed to different departments within the organization. Say, for example, I'm concerned about something with respect to my credit cards. So when I put in a request, it should actually get routed to that appropriate department. And a simple categorization can help you do that. This categorization can be driven off of a database. It can be driven off of a big data analysis confidence model. The idea is that when you have the data routed to the right department, your resolution can be speeded up. So it's just a matter of ensuring that you get to the resolution in a fast manner. So you can plug in an AI/ML solution in here to make sure your cases are being processed in a timely fashion. And if you look at the second piece of the solution, the case management solution is a simple 3-milestone process. It takes up case creation. Once the case is created, it sets it down for processing to a case champion who's going to take care of ensuring that the case is resolved. And then there is a customer satisfaction survey team member who gets in touch with the customer to ensure that the case gets satisfied, the case was resolved to their satisfaction. So it's a 3-persona experience that we are talking about in this example. Without delay, let's jump right into the actual implementation of the solution. So for people who have made use of an online banking website to enter compliance, this must be familiar. This is just simulating an experience like that. It's looking for basic information from the customer, his name, email address, phone number, and a simple complaints description that basically talks about what issue they are facing. So let's just put in a complaint in here. So let's say I put in a name, an email address, my phone numbers. It's just to ensure that the customer service representative, if they need to get in touch with the back office agent, if they need to get in touch with us, they can get in touch with us using that information. And then I put in a compliance description. So in this case, I'm just saying that online password issue. So I have a problem with my online password, so I'm just creating a complaint for that, and I click on submit. So once you create, once you submit your case, you can see that you have a case reference number that you get back, and you retain this case reference number for your future records. A very similar experience that you would see when you give a call into a call center representative. So you basically complain about an issue, and the representative takes up all the details, gives back a reference number, which you can use for your further communication. Look at the second channel. This is the branch banking channel. So the branch banking channel is when the customer walks into a branch and he complains about an issue, and the branch manager puts in the detail on his branch banking website so that it can be sent out. So in this case, the branch manager is going to reference the customer by making use of his customer number. So in this case, I'm just going to put in his customer number, and then I'm going to add in what type of complaint he's having. So I can just say lost card. I'm just having an issue with my credit card. I'm creating a complaint regarding that. So again, same experience. You have a case number that is returned back, which can be then handed over to the customer for his future references. Let's stop here for a second and look at how we can see this on our automation interface. So in our process automation manager, I described a 3-persona experience, right? So the first persona in that experience is a back office agent who basically looks at the case and then fills in any missing information that needs to be put in, sends it down to a case champion. So I've logged in as a case agent login in here, and you can see that the cases that we logged in from our online channel and from our branch banking channel are available here for processing. So let me just open one of those. And you can see that I put in an issue regarding an online password. And you can see that I put in an issue with just my name, my phone number, and my email address. But the category has been assigned here, and the categorization is being done by your integration layer. And in the next case, you have the data coming in from your branch banking channel. And if you remember, the case was created with reference key, the customer number. So in this case, you did not enter anything relevant to the customer. Going back to what you see here, just have the customer number. You don't add in any of the customer related information in here. So what the automation what the integration layer is doing in here is that it's going to fill in that missing data. So it's enriching your payload to ensure that it has the customer details attached to it. So those are the two different channels that we just saw. Let's also look at the other two channels. The third channel that we're talking about is a simple SOAP channel. So assume that you have a legacy SOAP channel from a regulatory body, and your branch, your bank basically does a SOAP call to get any incoming data with a specific periodicity. Let's say they're going to do this for every 2 hours, every 24 hours, every month. The idea is it's going to give back a payload of the compliant information, which also has to be sent down for processing to our integration layer. So in this case, I have set the periodicity to be 1 hour. So this is one such example of a case that was added in from my legacy SOAP channel. So I have a problem with incorrect mortgage payment, and the mortgage payment information was sent down. That's basically what you get from the SOAP channel, and that's what you see on your automation manager ready for case processing. And think of the fourth channel, which is the batch channel. So the batch channel can be thought of as a way by which you could, let me just pull it up so that, yeah. So a batch channel, think of it as a simple spreadsheet. You put in all your details into the spreadsheet, and then you upload the spreadsheet. All the details then get processed at once in the batch mode. So that's one another example of how the data can come in. So for the purpose of this example, I'm just going to drop this file onto the location for processing. And you can see that there are a couple of records for customers John and James, and you want that to be processed in one single consistent manner, right? So let's go back to our task inbox. And if you see, you can see that the data that was entered as a part of your spreadsheet is now entered into the case management system for processing. So you had a couple of records in there, and you have both of those records ready for processing in here. So the idea is the integration layer is making sure that your data being read from different protocols, different patterns are being channeled down, enriched, and sent down in one single manner so that the automation manager can make use of it for case processing. So let's actually look at the automation side of things in here. So let's say I'm going to claim this case for processing. I'm an agent. I've logged in as an agent. I'm going to process this case. And this particular case talks about incorrect debit of the mortgage payment. So what I'm going to do is the agent can add in any missing information. She can look at past records of the customer, or she can get in touch with the customer to get any additional information. So she might just say, I've got additional information from the customer, and add in a file which can be more of a supporting documentation to my case, and then complete the case. So what really happens now is that the agent has assigned a case champion, and it is being routed depending upon the categorization that was done. And in this case, it was regarding mortgages. So it would be sent down to the mortgage business unit for processing. So now let us try to log in as a So now we're going to try to log in as a manager. So I'm going to log in as a manager of the business unit, which is going to be processing this case. And as I log in into the process automation manager, you can see that my task inbox has the task waiting for me. So the case is being routed to me. I'm going to claim the task, and I'm just going to say case resolved. And I'm going to complete the case. So the case has been appropriately resolved by the mortgage business unit. Now it's being sent down to a customer satisfaction survey team member. And what he does is he gets in touch with the customer, ensures that the case was resolved to their satisfaction. So let's log in as the third persona in here, which is the customer satisfaction survey team member. And the case should be waiting in here, similar to what we saw with the manager experience. And so there you go. You see the case in there. You're going to claim the case, and then you're going to add a comment that that you obtained when you spoke to the customer. So let's say the customer said, I was satisfied. The case can be closed. Basically, add that detail in here. So the customer is satisfied with the case processing. So, and I'm just going to say case is satisfied. I'm going to complete it. Now, when you look at the actual cases in here, you can see that this is the particular case that got resolved. And you can see that the SLA compliance on this was met. So you can set SLA compliance on case resolution to ensure that your cases can be resolved within a time frame. So most compliance management systems ensure that they process your case within 5 to 10 business days, or in some cases, up to 8 weeks for complicated scenarios. So you can set fine-grained SLA controls to ensure that your SLA is being met. And if you have an SLA breach, it can send down notifications to different departments, alerting them to take action on that case. And what is really interesting in here is that it retains your case information completely. So it's similar to thinking of a case file in its physical sense. Think of it like a book where you write down all your case information, and then the book is retained for future records in your in your library. Similar to that, all your case information has been retained, including the documents that were attached as a part of your case processing. And it also shows with the details of what happened through the case resolution process. It shows you that the case was created, the case was assigned to the business unit, it was resolved, and then it was also being surveyed. I mean, it was also being reviewed by a customer satisfaction survey team member, and it was closed at the end. So it kind of shows you the path it took to the resolution completely. So that's the kind of transparency you get with a tool like Process Automation Manager. And if you looked at the various perspectives that I was switching, the first perspective that we used was the task inbox. That is basically a forms management system where you can use make use of that to actually have your business users log into it and then resolve cases using the Business Central, which is the application that you're seeing in here. The experience that you're seeing now is the management experience. If you want to take a fine-grained look at what happened as a part of the case processing and what path it took to completion, that is something that you could see with this perspective. And then there's yet another thing that I would like to show you with respect to the process reports. So you can see that as the case processing happens, there's complete transparency with respect to what happened with the case. So starting from the actual execution of the case management interface until how it got completed, who processed the case, who are the various personas who were involved in solving the case, all of this information can be tracked down by making use of these task reports. And what is also important to note is these reports can then be fine-tuned. You can create custom reports. If you're if you're looking at specific metrics, you can create dashboards specifically around that as well. And you can also go down into task level metrics. So you can go down to look at how many cases were resolved, how many of them were ready to be processed, how many of them have been completed, do you have any outstanding cases that needs to be processed at this point of time. All of that information can be seen in these dashboards. And the tasks are also broken down by owner. So it basically shows you how many tasks were processed by each and every persona in your case management layer. This kind of gives you a complete back office automation solution. It kind of gives you the idea of providing an automation solution, providing for metrics of what happened, providing for metrics on how many were solved by a specific group. You can also set fine-grained controls of a user group as well as a specific user. So in this case, I have a group called as agent, and a person called as agent login is using that agent group to log in into the system for case processing. So you could have those fine-grained role-based access controls to get your cases to be resolved appropriately. So that said, this is like one side of the reporting that you could see. The other side of the reporting is what you see in here as a part of your Hot IO console. So when you have distributed integration, this is one question that I keep hearing over and over again. Integration is a hard problem to solve. When you have a single unified integration layer that takes care of your integration needs, it's very easy to track if you have an issue. But when you start breaking things down into distributed integration, how do we keep track of what's happening within your integrations, right? What you see in here is a management console that can help you provide a way by which you can individually look at those different integrations that happen within your system, and then drill down, debug into one of them, look at detailed JVM metrics, If you're looking to analyze heap spaces, if you're looking to analyze hotspots, you can do detailed JVM level metrics by making use of this console. So in this example, if you remember, we had 4 routes. If you look at what you see in here, it actually lists down all of those 4 routes that you have for your omni-channel experience. You have the branch banking, online banking, file polling, and the regulatory channel. And if you want to look at the details or the specifics of each and every channel, you can drill down into each one of them. So you can drill down into a branch banking channel, and you can see that in the branch banking channel, we are enriching the missing customer information. Here, the key was the customer number. So what we are actually filling in is the customer information. And in your online banking channel, in your online banking channel, we are putting in the categorization information. So that's something that is not being put in when you enter the data through a online banking interface. So that's something that's being filled in by your integration layer. And if you look at your batch processing system, that kind of shows you exactly what's happening. It's reading from a file, parsing the data, splitting each and every record, and then for each and every record, it's ensuring that the case is enriched and then sent down for processing to our case management interface. So it kind of gives you a detailed overview of what happens within your integration layer for each and every specific route that you create out there. The same for your online banking channel, where you read from your SOAP channel to process data. So coming back to our solution in here, the flexibility that you get with a solution like this is that you get to provide for that omni-channel experience, as well as provide for a unified case management experience. And that's the power of combining your process automation manager and Red Hat Fuse and automation and integration solutions built for cloud-native enterprises. So what is really cool about the solution is that this whole solution can be containerized, and you can have it running on OpenShift, and you get to have that flexibility of having it to run either on-prem, or you can have it running on OpenShift. So that's the flexibility that you can get with an application of this sort. With that, I'm going to open the floor for any questions that you might have. So for anybody on the call, if you have any questions, feel free to chime in with questions. I'd be happy to take it. So I take that silence as no, and thanks a lot for joining the session. Feel free to get in touch with me if you'd like to know more about the aspects of how these solutions work together. This reference architecture and the code is available on a public GitHub repository. So feel free to get in touch with me, and I can share the GitHub repo with you. You can take a look at it. And looking forward to talking to you. Thank you so much for joining the call today, and have a blessed day.